My name is Lily, and I'm 26 years old. I'm a software developer, which sounds impressive, but it's mostly me hunched over a laptop untangling code for hours. That Wednesday night, I trudged home after a grueling day fixing a client's buggy app. My head throbbed, and all I wanted was to scarf down some food and collapse into bed. I barely kicked off my shoes before heading to the kitchen to scrub my hands. The house smelled like Mom's lasagna, a rare treat that meant I wouldn't have to cook. I shuffled into the dining room and sank into my usual spot at the table. Dad was already there, along with my younger sisters, Mia 21, in college, and Chloe 18, still in high school. I reached for a plate when Mom cleared her throat, signaling something big was coming. Her face was oddly serene, like she was about to read the news. "I have an announcement that affects everyone," she said, her tone flat. "Especially you, Lily." I glanced around and noticed the vibe was off. Dad wasn't eating, just sitting with his hands clasped. Mia had a smug little grin, and Chloe was biting her lip, trying not to laugh. They were in on something I wasn't. "What's up?" I asked, though I had a sinking feeling I knew what was coming. Mom's lips curved into a fake smile. "We sold the house today, we're moving out tomorrow." I faked a shocked gasp, letting my fork clatter to the table. "What? When was this decided? Why didn't you tell me?" Mom's smile didn't waver. "Because you're not coming with us, Lily." Dad chimed in like they'd practiced this. "You've got 1 month to find a new place before the new owners move in." My stomach twisted, but I kept up the act. "New owners? Who bought it?" Mom shrugged casually. "Some corporation, I don't know the specifics." That's when Chloe lost it, giggling so hard she nearly tipped her chair. "Soon those people will toss you out with your nerdy laptop. You'll be camping under a bridge." I waited for Mom or Dad to shut her up, but they just sat there, smirking, as Mia joined in, laughing. It was like they'd planned this show just for me. "This isn't funny," I said, letting my voice quiver for effect. Dad leaned back, arms crossed. "Crying won't help, Lily. You should have worked harder to afford a decent apartment." I stayed quiet, staring at my untouched lasagna while they chatted about their moving plans like I was invisible. After dinner, I mumbled an excuse about being exhausted and escaped to my room. The second I shut the door, I flopped onto my bed, face buried in a pillow, not to cry but to stifle the laughter bubbling up. If they heard me, the whole plan would collapse. The truth, I'd known about the house sale for 2 months. Because I was the buyer. Well, technically my company was, but it's the same thing. My parents had no clue their own daughter had just bought their house. To understand why this was so satisfying, you need to know what growing up in this family was like. My parents never hid that they favored Mia and Chloe. They didn't neglect me outright. They fed me, clothed me, gave me a room, but the favoritism was blatant. When I turned 16, Mia got a massive Sweet 16 bash with a live band and all her friends. For my 16th, I got a store-bought cupcake and a happy birthday muttered during a TV commercial. Mia got a shiny new car for her 18th. I got a $15 gift card and a pat on the back for graduating. Every summer, they whisked Mia and Chloe off to lakeside cabins or family reunions, leaving me behind to watch the house. Christmas was the worst, piles of gifts for my sisters, while I got socks or a notebook. At 15, I started working at a local cafe to earn my own cash, tired of begging and hearing no. With my first few paychecks, I bought a second-hand laptop from a thrift shop. I'd taken a free coding class at school and found I was good at it. By senior year, I'd taught myself enough to know coding was my future. I applied to colleges and got into every one, with partial scholarships to fancy private schools and a full ride to the state university. When I told my parents I got into college, they nodded for a second before I mentioned needing funds for the schools without full scholarships. "We're not paying for your college," Dad said, not even looking up from his plate. "That money's for Mia and Chloe's education." I'd expected it, so I just said I'd take the state school's offer. It had a solid program and free was free. In college, I worked part-time and lived at home. In my sophomore year, I met Ethan, a classmate who became my coding partner. We started building apps and small programs, selling them and splitting the profits. I was earning more than Dad, who worked at an auto parts store, but I never told my family. I kept wearing my ratty clothes, driving my ancient Toyota, and acting broke. My family barely noticed me. They'd take Mia and Chloe on trips to theme parks or coastal resorts, posting happy photos online while I stayed home, supposedly to guard the house. Birthdays were the worst. Mia and Chloe got lavish parties with friends and pricey gifts. On my birthdays, I'd wake up to silence, buy myself a cheap cake, and only then would they mumble, "Oh, happy birthday." For 4 years, I went to classes, worked with Ethan on projects, and pretended I was scraping by. In reality, Ethan and I were making bank selling software to small businesses. Inventory tools, billing systems, nothing glamorous but profitable. When I graduated at 22, my family skipped my ceremony for Mia's dance recital. Ethan's parents let me sit with them, which was kind but stung. A week later, Mom cornered me in the kitchen. "Now that you're done with school, you're paying rent $900 a month starting now." I nodded. It was cheaper than an apartment and I was making way more. Also, she added, buy your own groceries. We're not a free hotel. No problem, I said. Meanwhile, Ethan and I had started our own software company during our senior year. We rented a cramped office with spotty Wi-Fi, lived on instant noodles, and funneled every penny back into the business. Ethan's brother thought we were nuts, and my family assumed I was broke because I still drove my rusty car and wore faded jeans. At 25, everything changed. We'd spent 2 years building a sophisticated logistics platform. Exhausted and nearly broke, we weren't sure it would sell. Then a major shipping company tested it, loved it, and offered $2.5 million to buy it. I made Ethan show me the email 4 times to believe it. Overnight, we went from noodles to millionaires, split between us, but still life-changing. Our reputation soared, and soon we were landing contracts worth more than Dad's annual salary. When my parents listed the house for sale, I had over $3.5 million in the bank but still lived in my old room, paying $900 rent. I found out about the sale by chance, browsing real estate sites for my own place. There it was, our house, with photos of my room, my stuff still in it. They were selling it out from under me without a word. I was hurt, then furious, then inspired. I called Ethan. I'm buying it, I said. Through the company, they'll never know it's me. Ethan paused. That's either genius or unhinged. Maybe both. I hired an agent to handle the purchase under our company's name. My parents thought they were selling to some faceless investment firm. The deal took 7 weeks, during which they planned their move, gushing about Mia's new campus-adjacent apartment and Chloe's bigger room. I nodded along at dinner, biting back laughter. The night before closing, I overheard Mom in the hallway. I almost feel guilty not telling Lily sooner, she said. She'll be stunned. Dad snorted. She'll manage. Maybe this'll push her to do something with her life. I nearly choked, holding in my laughter. Their failure daughter was about to own their house. The next morning, I woke to a moving truck's rumble. My parents were loading their car, movers hauling out furniture and boxes, everything except my room's stuff. Mom stood in the bare living room, checking a clipboard. She looked up with that fake smile. Well, Lily, we're off. You've got 1 month before the new owners arrive. Start apartment hunting today. I put on a devastated face. Mia sauntered by with her last bag. Good luck finding a place you can afford with your sad little job. Maybe try a tent, Chloe smirked. Or your car, oh wait, that junker probably won't even run. Dad clapped his hands. Movers are done, let's roll. They left without a backward glance. I watched them drive off, then called Ethan. They're gone, grab pizza and beer, party time. He showed up with 2 pizzas and a 6-pack. We sprawled on the empty living room floor, eating and laughing. I can't believe you pulled this off, Ethan said. Your parents sold you their house and think you're getting evicted. The best part, I said, sipping beer, is they think some company's kicking me out in a month. Ethan grinned. You're ruthless. Don't ever cross me. We planned my house upgrades, new furniture, maybe a home office. I liked the house as it was, but it needed my touch. Over the next 6 months, I settled in as a homeowner. Ethan and I hired 3 new coders and moved to a bigger office as our company grew. The silence from my family was bliss. No more snide comments, no more being sidelined. For my 26th birthday, I threw a small party with Ethan, his brother, and a few work friends. We ordered too much food, played board games, and had a blast. My first real birthday celebration in years. My family didn't call, but I didn't care. They'd never remembered before. A week later, my phone rang Mom. I almost ignored it, but picked up. Lily, what's going on? She snapped. Mrs. Carter next door said you're still in the house, bringing in fancy furniture, parking your car every night. Mrs. Carter, the neighborhood gossip, had ratted me out. Yeah, I'm still here, I said, stifling a laugh. What about the new owners? Mom demanded. I couldn't hold back. I laughed. Mom, I'm the new owner. My company bought the house. I bought it from you. Silence. Then she exploded. You're joking. You let us sell it to you. You let us think you'd be homeless. Why didn't you tell us you had money? I stayed calm. Because you ditched me. You sold the house and left me like trash you didn't want. You made it clear I wasn't family. I don't owe you anything. She sputtered. You can't cut us out. We're your family. Not anymore, I said. You made that choice. I'm busy. Don't call again. I hung up. I knew they'd show up eventually. That Saturday, their car rolled into my driveway. All 4, Dad, Mom, Mia, Chloe, marched to my door. I opened it and they stepped into my revamped living room. Plush leather couch, 65-inch TV, sleek dining set, high-end espresso machine. Mia's jaw dropped, Chloe gaped, and Dad muttered, this stuff costs a fortune. Mom looked like she was solving a math problem. Lily, explain, where'd you get the money for this, for the house? I shrugged, lounging on my couch. Like I said, I own a software company, been doing well for a while. How well? Mia asked, eyeing the TV. Enough, I said. I'm worth over $3.5 million. They went pale. Mom gripped a chair. Dad's face froze. The truth hit them like a truck, and for the first time, I felt like the one in control.